3 years ago today, as the state of our financial life was weighing on me, I pulled out my phone and started talking to it. And that night, I uploaded that video to YouTube. And that's how the love affair began. In this video, I'm going to share why I started my channel, why I continue my channel, the milestones that I've hit so far, and a lot of the stuff that I've learned along the way. So stick around to hear all about it. Welcome to the Budget Bounce. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jen, and I talk all about living life on a budget and saving for our future and paying off debt and all the things that life brings us along the way, both the good and the bad and everything in between. So if that's up your alley, then make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and tap the bell so you'll get notified every time I post a new video. So let's start out by talking about why I started the channel to begin with. There were a lot of things going on in my life on that particular day. It was a bright, sunny Valentine's Day morning, and I had just pulled into the parking lot at work, and I just pulled my phone out and started talking. And I was just sharing a little bit of our backstory and how we had gotten to where we were. And it's because my husband was homesick and had not been working for, I think, 6 or 7 months at that point. Our finances were not good. And I had hit the wall, had my sick and tired of being sick and tired moment the month before in January. We had started living life on a budget on February 1st, and it's now the 14th. My husband's sick. I don't know if he's going to get better. I don't know if he's going to be able to go back to work. And I have not kept it a secret that he was out due to severe anxiety and depression. And so essentially, he hit his wall, but it resulted in, a breakdown, and he was not able to function. And I'm going to tell you guys, it was scary for a while. We were past the worst of it in February when I did that video that day, but that doesn't mean I wasn't still scared. I was scared. I was very concerned that he was not going to be able to get back to the things that make him feel fulfilled, the things that, made him who he was and the person that he was, that I married, and everybody changes over time, but there were huge changes that had happened, and our finances were a complete and total wreck. He was not able to have the conversations with me and be my accountability partner and do all of those things as I took control of one thing in our life that I knew I could get control of. There were a whole lot of things that were completely out of my control on that day. But the one thing I knew I could get a hold of was our finances. So I started working on that about 3 or 4 weeks before I did my first video, but I didn't have anybody to talk to. I even, I'm close with my mom and my sister, but I didn't want to talk to them about our money at that point. I felt so much shame and embarrassment and all these negative things. I hadn't gotten to a place where I felt good about what we were doing. It was all so incredibly scary. So that's how I did my first video, how that all came about that day. And I needed to be able to talk about our progress, my fears through all of this, our flops, the things that we did well. I needed to be able to talk about all that. And, when your partner in life is not able to reciprocate on something so important, I needed an outlet. So here we are. Now, why do I continue the channel 3 years later? Moving forward to the day that I pulled out the camera and I did my first upload, I was like, okay, well, that wasn't so bad. Let's do that again. And so I did it again. And then I did it again. And I was sharing our story as we went along, and it was very therapeutic for me. And people started watching, and people started commenting and engaging with the videos and asking me questions and telling me that I was, cheering me on and providing advice and insight and criticism. We were getting criticism as well, because we certainly were not perfect. Not everybody agreed with the approach that we were taking. That's not what I'm here for. the road to financial freedom, which is really where we're trying to get to, is going to be a long and bumpy one. And the community out here is amazing. I can't even imagine going through all the things that we've gone through in the last 3 years in our personal and financial lives, and you guys not being along for the ride and not sharing it with you. I have learned that our successes and our failures have helped people get through some really hard days over the last few years. And if I can do that by sharing our story, then I'm going to continue to do that. And I appreciate each and every one of you so much for all that you give to me through this process. And I hope that I am able to reciprocate that to you as well. And my eyes have been opened to new opportunities, both personal and professionally, through this whole thing. And I can't seem to get enough. So I'm just going to keep on going and sharing our story and bringing content that I hope will continue to help others. I hope that we can, even when I'm sharing our flops, because we've had some big ones. I'm hoping that someone is learning from them and getting inspired about, you can make mistakes and keep going. So along the way, we have grown so much. So let me share some of the things that I have captured that have happened over the last 3 years since I started a YouTube channel. And some of them are personal, some of them are financial, and some of them are very specific to YouTube. So I broke them into 3 categories so I could talk about them. So I'm going to start with the personal stuff. And these are things that have happened that you guys have experienced, sometimes directly or indirectly, through my videos that I've shared with you. So first of all, we gained a granddaughter. And while she was already here with us at the time that I put up my first video that day on Valentine's Day in 2018, she was only a few weeks old. So I feel like, that really was the first thing. And I was learning how to be a Lala, and Matt was learning how to be a Papa, and they were living with us. And it was so amazing and such a blessing. I can't even tell you how much Matt and I needed that in our lives. We needed our daughter to be here. We needed our granddaughter to be here. And that's really, that kind of segues into the second thing, which was our daughter was here, and she had lived 45 miles away before. And now she was not only living in town with us, but in our home with us. And we were getting to see her every day, getting to help her whenever she needed it. Those were blessings in our life that were very important to us. Then you guys saw that Matt got a new job, and this was really exciting because he had not been working for 10 months. He started a new job with amazing benefits, with a lot lower stress. It was exactly what he and we needed at that point in time. Then Matt got another job, and I can't remember if I talked about this very much on the channel, but he did get another job, which was another transition. It was about a year later. And then shortly after that, Henry got his first job. So my 17-year-old now is going to work several nights a week, learning what it's like to work for someone else. And now he is taken off every day in the car all by himself. Like, he had not driven by himself a whole lot up to that point. Driving home at night after he got off work. I, for the first few months, had a really hard time going to sleep before I actually knew he was home from work. I might go to bed, but I wasn't asleep. That was another big milestone for him and for us. It was a big game changer because we now had evenings alone. And he was not here and was not part of the conversation and not part of our routine. And that was all, it was a little weird at first, but then we really got to the point that we enjoyed it. So another big change in our life. And then we lost a pet. And I shared that with you guys. It was because it impacted our finances. So it was part of our story as I was, healing from that heartbreak, because we loved her very much. That was Cotton, our long-haired cat. Right after that, we celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary. Our youngest, Henry, that I mentioned, he graduated from high school. So that was in the middle of the pandemic. I guess I didn't mention that, but the pandemic hit, for everyone. So, I feel like that's kind of goes without saying, but I'll just add that in. He managed to finish out his senior year and graduate. And then there was college. And so Henry started going to college online. And so he's been doing that now. This is his freshman year. And he has gotten through a few classes. It's a free program that that's through Matt's work, where he can get an associate's degree for free. The next thing that happened is my parents contracted COVID. So when that happened, I went to them to care for them because they were too sick to care for themselves. And through that process, I contracted the virus as well. My dad and I, we all were very sick, but my dad and I both had to be hospitalized. We both got pneumonia on top of the COVID. My dad had COPD, which was, we just were sure if he got COVID, it would be a death sentence for him, but nope. He went and got his treatment and came back and just keeps on trucking. Now, there are effects of COVID, but the big thing that happened here, aside from the fact that we all got very, very sick, is we all survived it. And in the middle of all of that, we lost another pet. And it was unexpected. And it was in the middle of my illness. I was still very sick. I was on the mend, but I was still very sick when we lost her. And so another heartbreak, 2 pets gone in 1 year. It was in less than 6 months, we lost 2 of them. Then Matt got another job. So here he is on his 3rd job with the state, and he's doing something completely different this time in a different department. And so he's learning a lot, and there's been an adjustment. It has impacted our finances because they aren't very good about getting deductions passed from one department to another. So they can't seem to get his paycheck straightened out. So another thing that happened was we got a new puppy. And so he's amazing. We didn't plan for him like I wish we had, but he has been such a blessing since we got him. And then he's not quite, I guess he'll be 7 months old tomorrow. If you're watching this video on the day that it's released, he'll be 7 months old tomorrow. So, we also, in the middle of this, we bought a new home and we moved. And so if this is the first time you're watching a video since I started, this is my new office, my new studio, if you will. So I work my full-time job here, and I do the Budget Bounce here. I do my YouTube and everything else related to all the stuff that goes with that. That is, from a personal perspective, that's a lot that's happened in the last 3 years. A lot of big milestones, lots of day-to-day regular life has happened, but those were the big ones, right? So let's talk about the financial changes that we've had. So first of all, we have paid off over $85,000 of our debt. Through that process, we have gotten rid of 21 of our original debts. I think we had 40 or 41 to start with. So we've also saved a $1,000 emergency fund, which actually we did within the first couple of weeks of starting this whole thing. We went a long time and didn't have to use it and sat on $1,000. And then life started happening. At the end of our first year living on a budget, I got into a car accident, and the financial ramifications from that were pretty costly. And we learned real quick, $1,000 isn't enough. So we had to spend our whole $1,000. So we ended up building it back up to $1,000, and then we continued to build it. So we eventually got it to $5,000, and actually went a little higher than that, but we got to a $5,000 emergency fund, which felt so much better. We've built sinking funds, and if you guys have been following me, you know that I am a nut for sinking funds, and we have a bunch of them. We have started contributing to our retirement again. That is something that in the first year we did not do. And I very quickly realized we are not gazelle intense enough to not be contributing to our retirement plans in our 40s, because we had hardly anything saved up, and we didn't have time to wait for us to get our debt paid off before we started contributing to the 401k or pension or whatever again. So another big financial accomplishment is that we bought a car for cash. Like, I've never done that in my life, and I never dreamed in a million years that we would be able to buy a car for cash, not based on what our history was. Another thing that happened during this time, is we have increased our income, our household income by 75%. Now, then we bought a new house. And so I have a whole series on that I'm building on the channel that I'll be releasing over the course of the next few weeks. But that just happened a few weeks ago. And so we haven't even been here for 2 months yet. And we love it. It was such a good choice for us. It has forced us to change up our financial priorities, but it's been a really, really good move for us in our health, right? In our personal, mental, and emotional health. And the last thing that I would share as far as finances go is I made some money from my side hustle, which is this YouTube. So let me just, let that segue right into the YouTube stuff. Let's talk about the things that have happened with my YouTube channel over the last 3 years. So let's start out with the fact that I've made over 110 videos. Yeah, people have made more. There's also people that have made less. I have made over 110. I think this might be number 112. I can't remember for sure. Through that process, I have used 2 phones, a DSLR camera, a video camera, and 2 webcams to make videos at one point or another, along with a screen recorder. So those are the various things, the various pieces of equipment. You have to have tripods and I bought lights and things like that. But as far as filming goes, those are the things that I have used. And the thing to note about that is I only bought one of them. Everything else I already had. And I have created some pretty awful videos. I have created film with chaos around me where there's just a mess all around me. I have filmed with terrible lighting. I have filmed with terrible audio. Hi everyone, I'm Jen with the Budget Bounce. I've done it all. This past week, I totally had a rookie mistake and uploaded a video that had no sound after 12 minutes. And like, what was that? Anyway, and through it, I've also learned how to edit videos. So I've used, I think 3 or 4 different types of software. But the one that I have now, I've had for 2.5 years, and I love what I use, and it's called Filmora, and I can leave a link down below for you. But I just love it. Despite all of the things that I didn't do well, I hit 500 subscribers on YouTube in January of 2019, which was just short of a year since I started the channel. A year later, in January of 2020, I hit 1,000 subscribers. Well, then by May of 2020, I hit 2,000 subscribers. And that's because I had a video go what I'm calling micro viral. So it was viral for my channel, but it was not viral by the traditional sense. So I had a video get 73,000 views. So to give you some perspective, the video with the next highest number of videos, of views has about, I think it's 9,700 views. And it's a video that I put up like a month after I started the channel. So it's almost 3 years old. And this video got 73,000 views in like 2 months. That really helped grow my channel. The next big thing that happened was I started an Etsy shop. And so I finally got my budget template together so that I could make it available for those who want to use it. And then I started creating debt and savings trackers and putting those out there. And then, when I look back at what's happened the last 3 years, another thing that got peppered in there is I went to 2 personal finance conferences. So the conferences, it's the same conference, 2 years. It's geared towards creators in the personal finance or in the financial niche. It's not always personal finance, in the financial niche. So bloggers, podcasters, YouTubers, all of them coming together, talking about how they are creating content that is helping other people. And so that was geared towards helping us be better at creating the content, helping us be better at running our businesses. And when I went the first time, I had won a ticket. I didn't plan on going to it. I won the ticket. And when I got there, I got to meet people who I had been following, here on YouTube. and they were the people that came before me and had been doing things, great things financially and with their channels and their businesses. And all of a sudden I realized, holy crap, this could actually be a business. Like this could be something I could help my family with. And that's when I started shifting to this being a side hustle more than just therapy for me. And I had realized, because you guys have been telling me, that what I was sharing was helping. And so it just helped drive me to keep continuing content. So here we are, right? Through all of this, I made a bunch of new friends, both in real life and online. The community has been so incredibly amazing, and I can't even imagine going through this whole thing without you guys. So I just appreciate each and every one of you so much, whether you're saying anything on the videos to me or not, whether you're, reaching out to me, or we're communicating in any way or not. You're here, you're watching, and you are helping me and my family, because every time you are coming out and watching a video, you are helping the channel grow, and helping the channel grow helps my family grow, because it helps with, I'm monetized. And so, I'm getting like AdSense funds coming in now, that and things. So those are all the things that have happened with YouTube. I mean, it's been awesome. And when you think about the personal, the financial, the YouTube growth that I have experienced has just been amazing. You guys have stuck around through all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I can't believe that I'm actually making money from this right now. And it's because of you guys. And I just want to say thank you. Every time you watch, it helps. Every time you hit the like button, it helps. Every time you subscribe or share a video, every time you do that, it helps our family every time. So I just can't say thank you enough. 3 years on YouTube has been amazing for me. And I look forward to another 3 years. I can't wait to see, looking back, what did our next 3 years look like? And to share what's been going on in our life through all of that with you is just such an honor. And I am looking forward to more great times with all of you. Next up, I'm going to be sharing all the deets on buying our new home and moving and getting settled in, and the finances, all the numbers. I'm working on, at the time of filming this, I am working on building that up, and that series is coming out over the next few weeks. So that playlist is right here for you. You can go ahead and go watch the videos from the beginning if you like, or anything that you missed. So click on that, and I will meet you guys over there.